Hello everybody, welcome back to Volume 2 of Pyro Law QnA. Okay, questions and answers if you didn't know. Heck yeah. You didn't expect that, huh? Definitely not. Definitely the people who asked the questions were not expecting this at all. Never. Anyways, yeah, we are just going to jump in and yeah. Actually, before the start, I'm gonna start with the the questionable questions that are not very interesting, and then we will go into the rest, which is there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 questions that are actually about the law. More about the law than some other one that is, somewhat reasonable. And then there's 3 who are just joke questions. 2 are from the same guy. One is from the newest person around the block. Which I can't even say on, YouTube, because I'm gonna get fucking killed. Anyway, so let's just start off with his question. The bastard, Polish flag emoji, can't say the won't even show it, asks, which clone makes the best grilled cheese? None of them, I would say rather than none of them eat grilled cheese. None of them ever did grilled cheese. It would probably not even be the clone who makes grilled cheese, because there's only one non-clone, actually. Not even American, just one non-clone that is high up there in the chain of command, which, as a American influence does stuff like that, or maybe. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. So yeah, none of them is the answer, because none of them make grilled cheese. Maybe he ate some, I don't know. It's such a nonsensical question that I don't really know how to respond. Ah, Jesus Christ, it's so bad. It caused me to fucking yawn. Okay. Next 2 questions are going to be from Sader at Valve Enjoyer. First one is, do clones do basic stuff like eating, shitting and pissing? Yeah, yes, they are human. They aren't robots. Some of them might behave like robots, but they aren't robots. So yeah, they do. Next question is, are clones racist? To be blunt, yes. For instance, Cooper is the biggest racist of the clones. Obviously, not all of them are, because there's differences. Just fucking why? Some people might question, why would I make clones racists? That doesn't make any sense. And to that I say, they aren't the good guys, are they? Why wouldn't they be racist? Why would the bad guys be pro you? You wouldn't want to have, baby killers and mass murderers and war criminals on your side, would you? It doesn't really compute, That's why if people are not willing to accept that they are villains, then that's a problem. I have to make them be just villains. They are not the good guys, They may kill even worse people, but that's because it would take from their bottom line. They don't do it because they are good. They do it because they have to, and for money. Most of the time. I haven't actually chose if that's going to be the entire story. It's just going to be the current thing about the story is just going to be before the event itself, and after the event. The main canon, the no aliens, no supernatural bullshit, no any of that. The main canon is a story of Pyro changing because of something, and then losing that something, and going back to the state before, which is worse than when he was in between, gaining that thing and losing that thing. I'm not gonna even say what that thing is, but it's very important to the story, and you probably already know what that is. I'm saying that I know that you probably don't, so yeah. Next question is going to be Kristev, which is kind of a two-parter, you could say. Is there any potential for crossovers with characters from different universes and not specifically attached to the lore? Like a meet with Spetsnazman, for example. It could be in the form of a video call or just simple voice lines of radio porting. Counter-Strike continues to use Spetsnaz model to Arma 3 may be questionably hard. It would be pretty much impossible for me, and it would be, if I could just technically remake it in Arma 3 using mods, but that's not really good idea, considering the main enemy besides China is Russia. So, but besides going to the actual question, no, not in the main canon, not in the main thing, which is, as I said before, the story of Pyro changing as a person and regressing back to his previous state. That's not going to happen in the main canon, in the bullshit canon that all the zombies, aliens, and interdimensional bullshit and magic and stuff happens. Then yeah, green light on most stuff, and only I can actually choose what goes there. So maybe not anytime soon, but actually no, maybe soon, because I want to make the super serious lore stuff, like the story, as I said, later. When I can actually make something good with it. Currently, the Pyro lore, the timeline, is starting at TBF, which is the first event in the bullshit canon, the B canon, or canon B, whatever you want to call it, and after that we will have obviously the Pyro, the look of Pyro I have, and it's gonna be some stories involving bullshit that doesn't make sense. I'm gonna build off of that, build stuff off of that, establish characters, and then get the established characters into an actual story, an actual semi-realistic setting to tell an actually interesting story. So yeah, probably, but it won't be canon, and that's it for the weird questions and less serious one. Besides the Kristev one, that was probably the best of the 4 questions. Now we are jumping into the 9, if I remember correctly, and I don't. Questions from, I'm gonna butcher it again, Yanni, oh my fucking god, Yanis Lilikakis. Okay, listen, motherfucker, whoever is upset about that, you're the motherfucker. I can't pronounce that, okay? I don't know if it's probably correct, but I just know someone's gonna get mad at it. Okay, we're gonna start from whichever one, actually, I don't know. We're gonna start off the least interesting one, which is, how would Raven Milsec fare against different universe factions? Examples could be the Monolith and Stalker, Diamond Dogs and MGS, UNSC and Halo, etc. Well, power scaling in this sort of way is kind of hard, because, well, I don't really know how they would fare, because I don't really know which version I could say of the Mills PMC take. Do you want the main cannon one, which is the least powerful, or do I take the bullshit cannon one, which, spoiler alert, has interdimensional travel technology that was discovered and all that stuff. That's why this is the bullshit cannon. But yeah, and that interdimensional technology will lead to an event later on, which I'm pretty excited about even now, when I can't really do much with it, just tease. But yeah, going back from the ones mentioned, the UNSC would be the toughest fight and most likely a loss, purely because, well, it's the UNSC. There is a lot of them, and they can just kind of, nuke the planet if they wanted to, and also they have the big flying space ships that will be pretty hard to take out in space, when they could bombard us from orbit and stuff. That's a problem. The UNSC fight would be the hardest one. Same with the Covenant, though I think it would be actually easier, because the Covenant are dumb, and they rely on honor for some reason, even though they don't see us as honorable in the law, but they are still honorable. And that's like the weird thing, the weird dynamic that there is. For instance, in one source, they are saying that they waited for an entire group of Marines, normal humans, that are shit compared to the elites in the law, to gear up before starting a fight. And in the meantime, they use camo technology to kill off Spartans, a fair match, you could argue, with an elite, or even more than a fair match, discarding all honor, saying that they don't deserve it, which is, I don't know which one of them is the correct one. So yeah, but I guess that's why they don't use long-range weapons. But enough about Halo. Going back to what I was saying, I'm pretty sure fighting the Covenant would be fucking easier than fighting the UNSC, because for some reason the Covenant lack common fucking tactical sense, and technically the UNSC does lacks that too. But the biggest problem with both of them is the technological divide between the superior tech we currently have and theirs, besides the obvious parts of having a nuke that could destroy the entire planet, and space tech, which we can't really compare because we don't have it. So yeah, that would be the worst fight. That would be probably a loss, but to be honest, a Royal Guard, a single one could take out Spartan 2 with ease. That's my power scaling. Next one, Diamond Dogs and MGS would be the easiest one, because they don't have any special people. They are just a company. They have technically they have special people, and for some time they have the Metal Gear, but it's you can take out, realistically, you could take out a Metal Gear with I would say even one JDAM. I would argue even that a tank, one singular tank with a saber round, could disable or heavily damage it, because it's just a massive fucking plate of armor. A saber can go through a tank, through an Abrams, enter one side and exit the other. It's that's kind of how it works. But I'm pretty sure the Diamond Dogs would be the easiest fight. We would, like, Raven Millsec would destroy them completely. There is just no contest. Even with, you know, the Metal Gear, they wouldn't stand any chance. And Monolith from Stalker, that's an actually difficult one, because difficult to answer, because it depends on what you are talking about. If you're talking about strictly military wise, yeah, there's just the same with Diamond Dogs, but even less, because they don't have special soldiers. There's just normal soldiers that are, you know, brainwashed, and the only thing they pose a threat because, well, they are just of their undying loyalty to, well, the Monolith, and also because, well, they're just humans with guns, and maybe they have some special stuff, but, you know, it's the all of the gear, like the vehicles they might have, it's all Soviet. The guns, well, the guns is the difference, but they are just men. But if you take in account the Chernobyl and all the anomalies, I think that would actually even the odds in their favor. And the emissions, if it was the strong type, not the ones that you can just hide under a fucking bush and survive it, but the strong type of emission, which is the ones that happened every so years, so instead of fucking daily, then yeah, I think they could actually win. But strictly militarily speaking, Raven Millsec would wipe the floor with them alongside the Diamond Dogs. Any other ones, I don't really know. I would take way too much time to explain. I already took way too much time explaining this one single question, and it was like, what, 8 minutes, 9 minutes, 8 minutes, yeah, around that. So yeah, going to the next question is, how would each of the clones fare in a CQC fight against Pyro? How would they fare against normal humans? By CQC I mean strictly a fist fight. Well, technically Pyro is a normal human, and without the exoskeleton, even with it, the Generation 1 and the original wouldn't really fare well at all against Gen 2, 3, and God forbid 4. That's, you know, death. Because even with exoskeletons, I think that Gen 3 without an exoskeleton could be as good as a Gen 1 with a skeleton, roughly. Gen 4 is just killing machines, and exclusively, if I remember correctly, are made out of Royal Guardsmen. I'm pretty sure. If I retcon something accidentally in this video that is from the other one, then don't mind. I will set the record straight in the dossiers. So yeah, the dossiers are going to be the holy book, the holy document of the Pyro law, and every bit important information is going to be there. So if there says something and I contradicted later on, it's not new law, it's just that I forgot. Anyways, Pyro, I think Pyro, Mike and Zach would be a fairly fair fight, although they are clones, yes, but they are without the faults of me. They are a genetic replica, not like a it's not an identical template. They look a little bit different, as in the stature, the everything. Like I have, for instance, I have scoliosis, and because of my previous because I was all overweight previously, they wouldn't have that. They would be a little bit taller, so technically a little bit stronger. So I think Pyro would actually maybe would have lost in most of the fights, including Gen 1. So yeah, anything above Gen 1 is not a good idea, because well, it's a death sentence to anyone. To a normal human, he won't survive. A Gen 4 could fucking punch your head out, like literally punch you in the head and would fly away. So yeah, have you ever seen like a bodybuilder? The Gen 4 is the closest thing I could compare them to. They are built like a space marine, but less cringe. So yeah, that's the closest thing I could compare Gen 4 to. So yeah, that's it for this one, I'm pretty sure. The next one is, which of the clones, if any at all, do not like each other? There's no like hate or not like there is no visible problems with within the clone ranks and even in between, because they know their place. They've been born to fill that place and they are content with it. The only instances can be specific things like everyone else not letting Chris drive because he's a maniac behind the wheel. Even if not in combat, he will most likely crush the car. And that's about it. But little tidbit of information: Zach doesn't really like Cooper that much. Like the character, not the account. The character, Zach, doesn't really like Cooper. Mike is. Most of the clones don't really like Cooper that much. Like, they have some problem with him. Which is funny because Cooper doesn't have a problem with anyone. Which it's one-sided slight dislike of Cooper. Which is hilarious because, I mean, every named character has some sort of problem, however minor it might be with Cooper. But Cooper, for instance, he hates everything not clone. Maybe hate is a strong word. He dislikes non-clone, both employees and people outside the company. He is a clone supremacist, if you even could if you even could say something like that. So yeah, and another funny tidbit: Cooper hates Veronica. That's the shortened V, it's just call sign. Veronica, which will be rather girlfriend/wife of Pyro, depending on if I even manage to implement the story there. So yeah, he hates her for no apparent reason other than because she kind of usurped him with no progress. Just one day she appears and the next she's on the top with Pyro and Mike, and that doesn't sit well with him because he's, I guess, jealous, or maybe just his hate of normal humans clouds his better judgment. That's it. And Veronica is not a clone. I'm just gonna explain it real quick. She is an American-made super soldier, which and she is a super soldier because they couldn't figure a way to implement genetic modifications into a man after he reached a certain age, because biologically women are if a woman gets ill or something, they have less of a immune. The immune system doesn't act as aggressively as a man. That's a fact, by the way. That's a biological fact. That's why men complain a lot when they are, ill, because it fucking sucks. But yeah, that's the US government couldn't figure a way out to implement genetic modification past a certain age into a man, so they did it to a woman, and it passed with flying colors, and now she is an ex-special forces for the United States. There is a story, and I will tell it one day, but I will not share it right now. Why she changed sides like that? Because I still don't really know what's the best way of showing it. I just don't really know. But I will find a way somehow. Next question is: was Pyro being cloned voluntary or not? Why was he cloned? How was he cloned? So I explained the last part, I think multiple times. Not really explained, but just said the last part multiple times, that when he was in Russia as a mercenary, his team found a secret Russian lab. That's the short story. And in that lab there was cloning equipment. Yeah, they took it. And after the mission, bada bing bada boom, weird sequence of events, Pyro is the only survivor. There is no way of confirming if that's because, well, he was the only survivor and the Russians killed the rest, or did he betray his old team for the cloning machine. And the cloning process was 100% voluntary. He wanted to test it out. He actually tested it out, I think, a year after he found the cloning tech. And I think after like I don't. This story before Pyro being the Raven Milsec CEO and having the most powerful military corporation on the planet is not really fleshed out in my head. So yeah, that's the problem. But rough timeline: he retired very short time after finding that he wasn't working as a mercenary anymore, and started to aggressively try to expand his business empire so he could finally afford to do what have his own mercenary company, basically. And later, after that, he cloned himself, and then he cloned himself twice, and then made changes to the next set of clones, and then Generation 2 and Gen 3 and Gen 4, and that's all. And that's why he is where he is now, because he has a loyal army of himself that would not betray him. Because, well, would you betray yourself? That's a serious question. Would you? I don't think you would. Even if you were evil, what? Do you betray yourself for something you stand for? That's kind of dumb. Anyways, that's it. Next question is: where does Raven Milsec operate? I'm assuming from. Where is the HQ? Why is it where it is? I haven't in the main canon. I haven't decided where the HQ will be. But in the bullshit canon, the HQ is on the semi-fictional island of Altis and Stratus too. Basically, they are based on the real-life Greek islands. And the reason why they are there is because the Greek government paid them these islands as a payment, basically, for them getting rid of the Russians from those islands, because it's better to have a friendly military corporation, the strongest one in the world, than Russians on your doorstep. And besides, having a corporation on your, having a corporation on your good side is even better, because they can invest back into Greece. And in my story, there is also a Greek civil war stuff happening. That's why the Russians were there. And they did like a Crimea situation, which, on a small island like Altis, that wasn't really hard. Anyways, that's it. For the official canon, I don't know where the HQ is going to be set. I don't really know. I haven't chosen yet. It's either going to be America or Poland. Really, that's the only thing. Or I could just do it like the other stuff, like in MGS they are on an oil rig, and I could make it so that the HQ is the aircraft carrier, but I just don't think that's a good idea. I will think about it later, and then figure something out. Next question is, what are all the different factions and their soldiers? Which I can interpret that as either factions or other units in Raven Milsec, or outside factions, aka Blue 4 up for independent stuff. So basically the United States, European Union, the Russians, the Chinese, and all the other stuff in between, and whatever else I could fit in there. But so basically answering, so if you meant other factions as in, well, other nations and other stuff like we're pitted against, then I just answered your question. Basically a little bit more futuristic stuff that the United States and China already have. Basically, if you mean like factions as in inside of Raven Milsec, which is kind of a good way to describe what's going on inside the company, because basically the units are almost different factions, not competing against each other, but tribal politics. Basically, we have the Navy, which is solely controlled by Nathan Fleetcom, which obviously he is under the direct command of either Pyro or Mike, depends on whatever. But we have the Spartan Rangers, aka Cooper, and his undisclosed amount of killers that don't really feel any remorse, maybe only hate. That just they feel what he feels, basically. He only feels hate. There is also the, I think it's either MAD or MAG, so Module Assault Division or Module Assault Group. I can't remember right now. So there is the first MAG or MAD, run by Hammer. It is callsign Hammer, run by Towers, not Tower. It's Towers, like a surname, like someone would be named something like Adam Towers, right? That's the point there. So he's the big guy in charge of the, basically like the what they are, like the more conventional type of military force, operating normal troops on the ground, but also tanks, APCs, IFVs, MRAPs, other cars, artillery, and all that stuff. It's basically the US military, but smaller and more deadly, arguably. There's the Air Force, which is technically under the command of Alex, but it doesn't really matter. Um, yeah, that's the Air Force. They have the helicopters and the jets. And then there is, I think no, not the last one, but there is the Misfits, the normal tier 1 special operators that are kind of, you could call them crazy a little bit, but they just like a bit of fun. And they would be sent first before the Spartan Rangers, because Spartan Rangers are more used as a fear tactic, as a weapon of fear, a unit designed to break the enemy psychologically as well as physically. Usually their modus operandi is going in, brutally killing everyone, and leaving one or two badly wounded enemies to tell the tale of the red-eyed demon. That's why Cooper's mask glows red. It's a fear tactic. And that's why they are also Gen 3s, because, well, they're supposed to be fucking fast and strike fast and heavy, They're supposed to spread fear and uncertainty and stuff. It's just psychological warfare, but even worse, because they are actually fucking psychopaths, and they are killing everything, almost everything. As I said, they leave out one or two people, usually one, to just tell the tale. They wouldn't really believe, the enemies wouldn't really believe what the soldier was saying if the compound wasn't smeared with guts. If the corpses weren't missing a spine, for instance. That's a signature move, pulling out the spine from the, there's the top, the head, and there's the bottom part, and just grabbing it in the middle or grabbing it at the bottom and pulling it out, and maybe beating another man with it to death. That's for instance one of the fucking things they do. They're fucking crazy. And there is the last one, the most powerful one is obviously the Spartan Rangers. And the fucking Jesus, I was thinking about other thing. They're obviously the Royal Guard. Fucking hell. The personal guard of Pyro. The unfeeling, unquestioning killing machines that are always near but never seen. They are around 7 feet tall. I think 6.10, maybe 7 exactly feet tall. And they most of their weapons are custom, like most of their melee weapons. That I'm gonna specify. Most of their melee weapons are custom made because they are fucking huge. So yeah, that's that. And they could curb stomp every single other clone into submission. They could kill the Spartan Ranger. I think one Royal Guardsman could probably beat 10 Spartan Rangers in melee combat. I think. I don't really know. I haven't tested that hypothesis yet. The point is, the Royal Guard is an unstoppable force. They're just complete eradication of everything, and they are only used. They cannot. The only person that can command them is Pyro, and if Pyro is somehow down, their mission is to ensure he never die. I mean, he doesn't die or prematurely, basically, and they will do everything that is necessary in order to make sure he doesn't, even if it breaks company protocol, company rules, whatever, other orders from different high-ranking members. They will just do whatever is necessary to keep Pyro alive. If he is, for instance, hit very badly, which I will show the instance of in the Badger files. The Badger files free, I think. Yeah, but the Badger files free. It will have the stuff. I think someone is fucking banging on the door. Just excuse me for a bit. Okay, fortunately that was just an armed robber. Nothing serious. Right. I'm just gonna assume that whatever I was talking about before, I finished talking about. And yeah, next question is, what is all the equipment, weapons, armor, vehicles, etc. that Raven Milsec uses? It's a hodgepodge of weapons basically, but most are American, like the Abrams, the Bradley, Stryker, Humvees, MRAPs, helicopters like the Blackhawk, Seahawk, Chinook, Super Stallion, Apache, Super Cobra, UH-1Y, fucking the planes, which is the F-16. Yeah, F-16 and F-15, the transport helicopters, planes, such as the the C-130, and also the AC-132. There's one. Fucking the C4? No, C5. I think it's C5 Galaxy. I don't know, the Globemaster. A lot of them. Also all of the electrical intelligence stuff, the drones, Global Hawk, for instance, other stuff. There's a lot of it. Also the ships, such as the LHD, I think LHD, whatever, the fucking helicopter deck thing that has a lot of space for helicopters. I forgot to mention also in the tilt rotor section there is the Osprey. Enough of that. Then there is the Arleigh Burke class destroyer, the fucking aircraft carrier, which I forgot the name of, like the time. I think it's Nimitz class. Yeah, the Nimitz class aircraft, super aircraft carrier, or whatever you want to call them. Many other fucking ships that I don't remember currently, but I think there is a in the dossiers. In the dossiers there is a list of them. When the dossiers release, whenever they do, I'm gonna try to get them done this year, but this year is quite hectic, if you didn't know. But yeah, basically, yeah, that's it, I think, for the vehicles. The guns, well, there's the M4, AR-15, whatever. A lot of versions of that. There's the fictional Promet, the Livonian gun. There is the G3. There's the FAL. That's it. Mostly the M4 or the M16 or the AR-15, whatever. Any of those. Mostly them. And actually one singular AK, which Mike has. That's the only one there is. Besides that, that's the end of the guns. Well, besides obviously the anti-tank guns, which the anti-tank weapons, which are also all Western, predominantly American. The 84, the Javelin. The anti-air one is Stingers and Piorun from Poland. There's a lot of actually Polish stuff too. In the vehicle section, the ground vehicle, there's the Leopard 2PL. There's the K2PL. In the lore, not in the game, not in the Arma section. No, that's not the case. But there's also the Abrams, the Spev 3. Abrams. Then there is there's it. Actually, no, nothing else. And armor. I don't actually know what equipment every single grunt uses. It's just, you know, whatever looks cool. You see, if you recognize something on the model, yeah, congratulations, it has it. The only specific thing is that there's different types of exoskeletons. Zach, for instance, has a prototype one. He just doesn't care that it is a prototype one without the jump pack. He doesn't give a fuck. So yeah, that's it. Most of them have the heavier, you know, exoskeleton with more armor and stuff. But that's it. That's pretty much it. Next question is, how did Raven Millsec rise to become what it is today? I think I glossed over that. I think I did refer to it at some point somewhere. I talked about this. I know that I did because I remember, but it was a brief thing. Like I said, that it started with the mercenary gig and the YouTube stuff on the side, and there was this. Then he used his money to start a couple businesses, invest in this and that, and slowly, across several years, he became very rich. And with the use of his clones, which are basically free labor, and I'm gonna say something real quick. He did use clones as free labor, but they were just bodies, mindless drones, and they were discarded after that. You know, shot in the head. Yeah, he wasn't really the best person, but you know. Free labor is free labor. You do not have to pay for free labor. That's why he got to where he was, which Mike opposed. He didn't really like that, but you know, after Raven Millsec got to the point of having entire divisions made out of super soldier clones, he really did not have a need for a cheap workforce. He could just employ normal people, and yeah, that's how it came to be. You know, slave labor of himself. Technically not himself, because well, they maybe resemble him, but overall, you know, mindless drones. There's definitely a logistical company, like the truck stuff, the ship stuff, and other things like that. There's an airline, a big markets, like something like what's the fucking name of that one? Walmart, something like that. You know, the chains. Restaurants and gyms, and also private hospitals. That's very good. That's very actually profitable in the United States and nowhere else. What else is there? Well, defense companies too. Defense company. Besides, well, the private military company, there's the defense company, which makes guns and other stuff. And technically the exoskeleton, but that was actually stolen off of the Americans and replicated and not commercially available. So yeah. And nobody knows besides, well, the United States government and Pyro that it's there, but they can't really get rid of him, because that would mean they would have to get rid of every single clone out there. And they know that they can't do that because they don't know where everyone is. Yeah, going back to what I was saying, the road of the PMC getting where it is there, it's complicated because I have everything okay, wait, no, I'm gonna say it a different way. I have nothing, basically, in terms of law before the PMC became a thing. I have a lot of things after it became a thing, but not before. So, that's mostly because it's boring. I don't care about the past. I'm living the past of Pyro. I'm gonna say the divergence point was after Ukraine's victory, Russia fucking destroyed itself. The United States quickly came in, secured the nukes, got them out of there, and left the Russians to fight for themselves, their little civil war and stuff. And yeah, that's basically it. And afterwards, something happened over an unspecified period of time, and by the 2035, the PMC was a global superpower. That's it. Basically, Pyro fast-tracked from rags to riches very quickly due to the admittedly primitive cloning tech, but it worked. It worked well enough. The defense contractor company later made it a little bit better. And also, the organs of the clones, they were sold on the black market. So yeah, fun thing, right? Not only to the black market, also, donated here and there a little bit, PR moves. Not really PR, but mostly sold on the black market. Actually, no, only sold on the black market. And then he took the jobs of killing people that he sold them to, It's kind of like Star Sector. Anyways, the most important question that I wanted to autistically talk about for some time, but never had, like, a good opportunity to, is how do all the clones vary in morality and mentality to Pyro? Well, I'm gonna... I haven't really figured out a very, besides Zach, maybe, a little bit, Mike and Cooper, all their clones, I haven't really figured out what their personality 100% is. I have a vague idea, but I don't really have their personality nailed down. So, for now, I can only speak for 3 of the clones in Pyro. Yeah, so I will talk about that. Fucking hell, I've been talking for like an hour. Holy shit. Okay. I'm not gonna re-record anything. It's gonna be full of this. It's not really a video video that is worth doing that stuff. So yeah, I wanted to say something, I forgot. Anyways, so there's the 3 clones. There's Mike, the good guy. There's Cooper, the evil guy. And there's Zach, who is closer to what Pyro is than any other clone, but he has a different outlook, you could say. Mike is, well, not really the goody two-shoes, but it's definitely more, well, moral and righteous, you could say, I think, than everyone else in the company. Maybe besides Pyro after meeting, or rather finding, the thing he wanted to find, but that's a story for another day. Basically, oh my god. Yeah, basically, I'm trying to form a sentence right now. Trying to make a sentence that makes sense. Cooper is the personification of evil, the personification of my, not Pyro's, but my personal bad thoughts and impulses. He is the worst version of me, of my ideas, of my stances, of my beliefs. He is evil me. Mike is the good, the best, arguably the best version of me that could be made out of what I am right now without external help. He is still not the best, but he is the best any clone could get without the thing Pyro is subconsciously looking for. But he is the counterbalance to Pyro and Cooper. That's why he is higher than Cooper in the command structure, and is basically always near Pyro, or Pyro is always near him, because he is, as I said, the counterweight to what Pyro feels, which is very important. Because I can't really say why. I just don't want to spoil everything, but it's very important. Zach is like the doomer kind of me, but not that much of a doomer. He's definitely not very positive. He's pessimistic. He knows some stuff about the past, because but Mike knows more, but he knows some too about my past, about past of Pyro, because Gen 1 didn't have many alterations to the memories, only, the ones that Pyro chose not to share, at least with Zach. He is kind of depressed. I'm looking for a good word, and I don't think depressed is a good word. He's not very happy. That's what I'm gonna say. Pyro, you could say that about him too, but he's more concerned with his company than bullshit like feelings and stuff. So he's more, he just distracts himself with doing work, a lot of it, managing many companies, managing the bullshit, sometimes even being on the front lines himself, but that's a rare occasion. And that's the dynamic of the four people right now. I will expand on this later, but for now I need to set in stone my ideas for the other clones. Like, for instance, Hammer is supposed to be the stoic commander of the first mag or mad, whatever, and he is the commanding officer of every Hammer Grunt there is, which is the name of the clones that are under him, the guys who look probably the coolest out of all of them. Like, they beat everyone, even the Spartan Rangers. Like, the Hammer Grunts, they're personally my favorite. But yeah, favorite looking. But yeah, he is the more stoic guy. He can be aggressive, but that's reserved in the minimum, which is kind of surprising, because he's supposed to be very tall, at least 6'5", and he's supposed to be very muscular, and he has a M60 that is belt fed to a backpack. He has a backpack, a metal box with ammo that is fed straight into the M60, which has also on the front has like not one bayonet under, but two at a slight angle. Someday you will see them, not anytime soon, because I have no way of showing that. I can use references from other stuff, but it's not worth the effort for this video. Kyle, I don't fucking know actually who can Kyle be. Chris, but on the other side, Chris is the chaotic one. He's kind of like you would take my tweets and put them into an actual person, like complete chaos. So yeah, that's kind of his shtick. That's why he called his unit Misfits. Alex, I think he would be. That's annoying. That's a good question. I think the closest thing I could call him is an adrenaline junkie. He is a pilot after all, so yeah. Nathan. He's the most laid back one. Despite being in command of the most important things, he is the most laid back one and the most human of all of the clones, even Pyro himself. And I think that's it for now. Obviously V doesn't fit into that stuff because, well, she is not Pyro at all. One day I will explain everything, but right now you will just have to have fun with what I currently have given you. It's still like the lore, the most of it. It's still in prototype phase. Like there's concrete stuff like the names and the look, most of the looks of the characters and stuff. There is a lot of things that are also different, which a lot of stuff that will change. That's what I wanted to say, which is it always does. That's why currently whatever I do is mostly in the bullshit, the B canon, the second one, not the main one, because I want to, for the important story, I want to have everything set in stone, and I want everything to be 100% correct. That's why whatever I do currently, unless it's stated otherwise, is a part of the B canon. And yeah, that's basically it, because I want the main story, the A canon, to be serious, I want to tell a story that is, in my opinion, emotional, because, well, kind of has some stuff, some deep stuff, I guess. I don't know, really. I think it's pretty interesting. But I won't learn. I won't know if it is really as interesting as I think it is. There will be a lot of twists and turns and stuff during that canon, because there will be at least 2. Well, you could call them movies in that, but yeah, that's basically the thing. I'm pretty sure I what's the the word, overestimated and underperformed in this video, especially in that last question. But I think that saying anything more might be a bad idea, because I can just change already existing law to such a degree that it's gonna be not good at all. So yeah, this video is close to being twice as long as the last one, and that's pretty cool. I like being able to talk about lore of my own thing in such lengths that it reaches, that just rambling, unscripted rambling reaches an hour and 4 minutes. This will be 5 by the end. I stop fucking talking. Jesus. Anyways, I think I will actually stop talking. I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, if you want, if you want to ask more questions, you can do it on Twitter or in the comment section of this video, and I will make a volume 3 whenever I get enough questions that I'm satisfied with. So yeah, once again, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. 5 minutes.